everybody, this is Tim Wolf, and today's subject is how will the world be different post-COVID-19? We're all in a pandemic right now, and most people are shut down, sheltering in place. We got social distancing, things that most of us have never experienced in our lifetime, hopefully never again. And some people are thinking, a lot of time to think, what is going to be different after this pandemic is over? And it will be over. I mean, it's not going to go on forever. So Forbes put out an article, 5 bold predictions for post-COVID-19 world. And they said that global growth is going to explode. It'll be 4%. Well, I mean, that's pretty much exploding. Global growth, 4.4%, as pent-up demand and new vaccines power recovery from the 2020 global GDP growth of 1.2%. China will have a 6%. China will benefit from its bet on stockpiling oil reserves at cheap prices in 2020, which we in the U.S. are not doing. Perhaps that is going to be something we wish maybe we had done. The U.S. will rebound from a no-growth 2020 to 3% growth in 2021. But we will have something that goes with it, a nasty and long-forgotten counterweight. We're going to have inflation, and that's going to be one of the later ones. So global travel will have fully resumed, and this is an interesting one to me because I wondered if Carnival, I have family members who love to go on cruises, and Carnival, they're like Petri dishes being on a cruise ship. And there's been so much negative news about cruise ships and people that have been stuck on them and stranded and couldn't get away. And are people going to go back to go cruising? I read an article yesterday that Carnival are already, they're proclaiming it. Maybe they're trying to put a good picture on the situation, but they said they're already booking for 2021. And it appears that their stock is soaring. So it appears that perhaps there is going to be a problem. People are going to go back to global travel. Forbes is saying that global travel will fully resume. Those who predicted that COVID-19 will usher in a new lifestyle built around teleconferencing, virtual entertainment, and still more e-commerce. Nesting 3.0, as one forecaster called it, will have forgotten a key lesson, according to Forbes. That is, human nature doesn't change all that much. People like to travel and convene. Easily bored, they want to get up and go. So my good friend Jimmy D, had talking about music and musicians. He thought that people are going to realize that they don't have to go out, and they're going to be more people staying at home because they realize they can entertain themselves. I don't know. What do you think? Once it's safe to go out, are people going to be so pent up and there's going to be an explosion on live entertainment and people going places? According to Forbes, they think that it's going to go back to where it was, and maybe even more. Unicorn startups, number 3, will become an endangered species. But mostly in the U.S., China, there are more than 500 of these cocky digital native startups funded by venture capital. Collectively, they have valued at over $2 million, but there's a dirty secret. Vast majority of unicorns burn far more cash than they generate in a rising stock market. Now, this is Forbes is a financial. Private investors didn't care whether that was justified. Their bet, after all, was on a unicorn's potential. But in a falling stock market, investors' horizons quickly shrink. So those people are going to be in trouble, according to Forbes. Number 4, Leftwing Politics will become more extreme in 2021. The U.S. and U.K., the 2020 recession was felt as a financial disaster for part-time and hourly workers, and the haves and the have-nots, those who can work from home and using a computer. And I've seen this and heard of this, and we talked about this in one of our podcasts with my buddy Jimmy D and the Wolf. If you're a physical worker and you have to go to the plant shut down, you can't work. But if you can work from a computer, your work hasn't been changed. And so it's gonna, the haves and have-nots are going to be even more jarred into our memory, or we're going to be able to see how we really aren't the same, and what that does to societies. We'll try to correct that situation. We have a lot of issues with income disparity in the U.S., and will there be any treatment for that? Will we change our viewpoint on that? Healthcare. What changes will be there in healthcare? I'm interested in any opinions you might have. Please put them in the comments. And number 5, and this is a big one, inflation is going to return, because when you can't have all this government spending, all these trillions of dollars, $2 trillion was the first one, plus one that nobody talked about, another, I think, $6 trillion, or was it another 4? Maybe the total was 6, for investing in the markets to try to prop up the markets. And that was just the first one. There's been so much financial quantitative easing, if you will, printing of money, that now we're talking about infrastructure. And I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm not making a comment on all of that, but I am saying that we are going to see inflation return. And I agree 100% with this one. Inflation is going to be a big deal in 2021. I remember when we had inflation in the 70s, a friend of mine, when I graduated college, went out and bought a car, and the interest rate that he paid on that car was 20-some%. And those are horrible times. And I'm not saying we're going to get back to that, but we broke the back of inflation through being very frugal. The Fed was very cautious on those sort of things. And now that's in the distant rearview mirror, and we're going to see that again. We're going to be fighting inflation, and I think that's also a good one. So what are your thoughts? Put them in the comments below. How's the world going to be any different after we get out of this pandemic? This is Tim Wolf. We'll see you next time.